Hey guys, Elite Legionarii here, bringing you a 2 vs 2 for Rome Total War. This time I'll be in command of Germania, and Hannibal Barca, which is one of my subscribers, will be joining me as the Seleucid Empire. We'll be facing against two fellow YouTube commentators, so I will link their channels. Directly opposite me is Paladinbob. He is in command of the Scipii Romans, and next to him is the King of Armenia, who is in command of Egypt. Both these guys do their own channels, so I will link them, and both of them are very good. So immediately, I might just pause, guys, just briefly while I explain the armies and the ideas of what was going through my mind and the things I felt we did good and could have done better. So basically, I know that Germania is a really good choice to go up against Rome. I've done it very effectively many times, and it works very well. So I was confident I probably could have beaten Paladinbob, although having said that, I've never really played him before, so I didn't know what his skill levels were. But I was still feeling pretty confident because these are legionary cohorts, as you can see. He has, there's only 2 urban cohorts, so there's not a lot of cavalry. So I was confident I would be able to beat him if I was just as long as I watched how much damage I took from Archer Auxilia. But I asked Hannibal to send his cataphracts this way, basically just so we could quickly knock him out, because it would be very easy to then encircle King of Armenia. But I made a big mistake. I forgot to tell Hannibal to move his infantry, so his infantry is far too far away to help. So I'm going to unfortunately have to divide my infantry to stop some of this these Egyptian pikes here from interfering with my fight with Paladin. However, these cataphracts will make a useful difference, but he did make the mistake of running directly through my own line, which really mucked me up. It did cause me to lose cohesion, and that was a bit of a frustrating thing. But anyway, I have 2 units of skirmish warband, this is to absorb enemy peeler. I have 3 units of spear warband in continuous line, no gaps. This is just to make sure that they can they can stall his infantry while I go around the flanks with my, I believe it is, 4 units of chosen axemen, which are about silver, I think. And I also have 2 units of gold Gothic cavalry, 2 units of bronze attack berserkers to assist the cav fight, because I know I'm going to be outclassed there. They've gold, those chosen axemen. However, because Egypt is right there, and I have no support stopping them, they're taking lethal amounts of damage there. So I have to divide my forces here, basically, because I'm getting entirely outflanked here. However, he does rush here, and it forces one of my berserkers into rage, which I didn't want at that stage, but it's okay, it should destroy that unit. However, Hannibal's cavalry will be very useful to basically divide up Bob's infantry units here. But because I've got not enough infantry support at the start of this fight, I lost too much stuff. Too much stuff at the early stages of this fight, which was really bad. However, I am able to get a reasonably large number of my chosen axemen around the flank here, and I've got my Gothic cav in to help Hannibal. Now, Hannibal's a lot newer player, only a couple of weeks of experience, and I made the mistake of expecting too much out of him for such a time. So here I rushed my spear warband in. I don't really care if they lose here. All I want them to do is to stop these urban cohorts from being able to assist, because those urban cohorts probably could stop us. So get in here and quickly destroy this Praetorian cavalry. Get these axemen in, because they'll very quickly ruin them as well. Stop him from throwing his peeler. Over here, fortunately, Hannibal did get his guys in, however he is not in phalanx, so that's going to make him lose a fight he otherwise would win. He gets hammer ambled. If I'd known that, if I'd been microing better, I would have brought my berserkers into the flank here to assist, because that probably could have made a difference. So we do manage to do a pretty good job of taking care of Paladinbob, but I don't want to get bogged down fighting any infantry with this cav there, so I'm going to try and get rid of these urban cohorts while I can, because I believe they'll be a pretty nasty threat. But I've got my berserkers in now, and that is making a pretty big difference at this stage. However, because Hannibal's infantry is completely destroyed, I have no means of stopping Egypt, so I'm going to have to try and use this unit I reserved to stall Egypt, because otherwise I'm going to be too divided. He does an excellent job with his cataphracts, but because I expected him to do too much with his cataphracts, he just didn't manage his infantry, and that's because I put too much on a player of his inexperience. So that's my fault. However, he does support me here, and this should allow us to destroy his general and his urban cohorts, basically. However, King of Armenia is coming in with his infantry, which is annoying, but I have reserved my other axemen as well, and I've got my other cav coming around the back, and I've got my reserve unit in to kind of try and pin him up, so it's not too bad. But we lost, I think, because we will lose this fight, but that's because it's mostly my fault for putting too much work for Hannibal to do at his level of experience. Instead of, if I didn't tell him to deploy next to me, I just assumed he'd automatically do so, but I forgot. So I think if he deployed closer and he got me into phalanx formation, I think we would have been able to put Bob down and still have enough left to encircle the remainder of the Egyptian army. But they played very well. And it did go. It didn't slight go our way, but there were very few minor mistakes, and I would like to point out though that Hannibal has been playing Rome Total War for probably, I think, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks absolutely on tops. So keep that in mind, and us guys, our three of us have been playing probably at least a year more, if not more, between us. So so anyway, I tried surrounding these Egyptian infantry, and I do pretty well, but unfortunately these desert axemen come in, and they will make very short work of my cavalry. I do get his general though, which was pretty sweet, and I will be able to get his infantry for the most part, because he's not really in phalanx formation there, and that'll be easy pickings for my chosen axemen. But his cavalry is just going to be a real nuisance, and desert cavalry is very good at killing heavy cavalry units, as I've explained in my other videos where I've used them. So unfortunately at this stage I'm gone pretty much, except for my chosen archer warband, which I'm going to try and pepper some of his cavalry with some flank shots. But I don't go down easily, at least, and they're not going to get like a crushing victory over us, or even a clear victory. It's only going to be a very pyrrhic one at that. So I think, like I said, our mistake was, and it was my mistake, because I just automatically assumed Hannibal would be right next to me, and I didn't instruct him enough. So sometimes, when you've been playing for a while and you have an ally who's not been playing for that long, you got to slow down a bit and say, oh right, hold up, you need to do this, this and this, because if you shoot ahead like I did in this fight, and I don't usually do this, I usually instruct them as best as I can, but in this case I left too much to chance, and I paid the price pretty much. But nonetheless, I think we did a pretty good job. Just if Hannibal's infantry had been closer and he got them into formation quicker, I think, because Silver Shield Pikemen will beat Pharaoh's Guards, not without too much bother. And if that had been so, if he'd been closer, I wouldn't have had to have divided my attention off with my spear warband there, and I could have pinned down all this Roman infantry pretty much immediately. The only real roaming threat would have been these desert axemen, and I think he had a chariot somewhere. There's one over here, so I wasn't too worried about chariots though, because this is a wooded map and they'd be very easy to outplay if you just moved yourself into the woods, which would play into my strengths being Germania. But ultimately though, they had closer teamwork there. I will give Hannibal though, I'll take hats off to Hannibal for good CAD work. There's a lot of work for a player who's been playing that for that limited amount of time. So a very well done part on that part, Hannibal. And other than that though, you need to make sure you should start as close to your ally in just about every case, because it's better that way, because you can very quickly support each other. But you did do a very good job with your cataphracts, and we were able to take care of Bob's army pretty quickly. He got well and truly, ganged up there, and I think, if the only part was your infantry there, if that had been closer, I'm pretty sure we probably could have won, but it doesn't matter that we lost. It was a great game, and Paladinbob and King of Armenia truly did deserve it. But basically, I wanted to, usually I just go with the same strategy. I usually pin down the Roman infantry on the spear warband, use the skirmisher warband to take the peeler, and then I get around the flank with the chosen axeman, and it'll clean out urban cohorts really quickly. And he only had legionary cohorts. I reckon I could have had him that way, but I didn't know how good Bob was. I didn't even know he had a channel. I've watched a few of his videos, and he's got some really good stuff. So is King of Armenia. I'll link both their channels in the description. And I'm sure both of them will very much appreciate your views. And if I'd known that Bob actually had a channel sooner, I would have looked at it sooner, but I didn't, so it's just the way that goes. But we sort of rushed out there, but I was a wee bit worried if there were chariots, but there weren't. any chariots as such, so even so you can always retreat back to the woods. But I had the concern of those archer auxilia because obviously they're long range and I don't have much armour, so Germania you always have to watch for enemy archer units basically, because especially long range ones. However, long range archer units do field less amounts of arrows in the ammunition amount, so you can get them to waste it. I might just triple speed it here, guys. I believe I admitted defeat first and then Hannibal's quick to follow. So there we go, an average defeat. Look at that, a very large amount of kills for King of Armenia, so well done to him. I did get in second there with 813, but did end up getting pretty nailed there. So the battle plan was sort of to basically destroy Rome very quickly, because Rome has the powerful infantry, but we had the means to do it very quickly, and I believe the only error was Hannibal's infantry was too far away to assist. And when he did get them there, I'd taken too much damage from missile fire from King of Armenia. I'd lost one of my chosen axemen down to about 30 men before it even got into battle, and you can't afford that. But there was nothing I could do about it because I couldn't. I had to focus on Rome or Paladinbob's army. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter, it's a good game. As you can see, I still got quite a lot of kills, but this chosen axeman, see, got 0. It just got destroyed by missile fire. And that is what I'm talking about with Germania. If you do not look after your chosen axeman with, from enemy archer fire, it will be destroyed. And I couldn't really look after it. I had to rush it. I'd rushed around my far left to get out of the Egyptian arrow range, but I still was in a lot of the archer auxiliary range. But had I been able to rush properly without having to be interfere with Egypt, I could have stopped that much sooner, but never mind. If you look at the Gothic Cav, they got large amounts of kills. The Berserkers also got lots of kills. Now Berserkers are a unit I don't particularly like, but you have to be realistic with Germania. Their cavalry will be outclassed by Praetorian cavalry. It's going to be outclassed by Seleucids, or a lot of factions are going to outclass Germania in the cavalry fight, but Berserkers will turn the tide into your favour. So that's where I think they're usable. Otherwise they're a pretty ridiculous unit in my opinion, but you can use them in that way, and that's how I advise their use. So quite well for the 3 chosen axemen, the Cav and the Berserkers, but I had to divide too much of my forces to keep Egypt at bay, and it didn't allow me to put enough damage down on Paladinbob fast enough. I did have good support from those cataphracts, but I think it was my fault. I put too much work on you, Hannibal, because I know you'll watch this, and I apologise for that. I expect you to do too much in that fight, so that's really my fault. But in future, like 90% of the time you want to deploy as close to your allies as possible. It's far better that way because you can help each other much quicker. So anyway, I'm waffling. Sorry about that, guys. This was 199, so I got one more after this, and it'll be a rematch fight between the same guys we've got here. So the next one, it's a rematch between us 4 guys, and I hope you guys enjoy that, because it'll probably be the last regular Rome battle for some time. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and thanks for the game, guys. Again, check out King of Armenia and Paladinbob. And actually, I just remembered, Hannibal has started his own channel. He's only, as far as I know, he's only got 1 video at the moment, but he's just starting out, and I can tell you now, when you start out, it's nice to have people viewing, so I'm sure he would appreciate you guys are viewing his stuff. And I actually asked you to view his stuff. Now if you watch my stuff, view his stuff, because he's just starting out and he's still learning the game, of course, but I'm sure he would appreciate it, and it'd be very helpful to him if he got off to a quick start. So anyway, I will link all 3 of their channels in the description bars, and please do look at them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon next time.